So, this is kind of a part 4 to the Harsh Reality series. I didn't really intend to make this an ongoing thing, just kind of a bunch of hard truths that you may not agree with. But, as they're written in a lot of books, a lot of older men have discovered them for themselves, and a lot of successful people who have hit rock bottom talk about these hard truths. Enough people corroborate a lot of these things that I think there's more to it than just whether or not you personally agree with it. Because everyone's reality is a little different, right? You might have a bunch of people around you that are extremely supportive and care about you. But I think there's enough people that kind of say that, there's just not enough people out there that have that to say that it's not really a harsh truth. To say that the world, on average, just is not on your side. Is not there to coddle you or help you or care about your problems in any way, shape, or form. And today's harsh reality is that dating as a man fucking sucks. And I'm going to try to kind of say this in the most unblack pill, I guess is what the modern term is. The most unblack-pilled way possible. That if you so when you're talking about dating in the modern sense, I don't think it's out of the norm to say that men and women are more divided today than ever before. And it just seems to be getting worse and worse. Like the videos that you just see being put out nowadays, it's more and more blatant that most women view men not as actual human beings. And if you're someone who wants a relationship, you're a relationship guy. I got into several relationships in my early 20s, and it honestly, I learned very quickly that I don't put up with much. I don't have a ton of patience, and that I've never been physical with anybody, but I've always been the person that would just say, you know what, this just ain't working out. Fuck ya, I'm out. I dump your ass and move on. If you're going to date, and I honestly don't personally recommend you do, because it just doesn't seem to be worth it these days. You really need to be confident in yourself, not to help you get women, just to be confident enough that you can walk away. Because more and more, you need to have that option. You need to have an out plan. And, maybe you're romantic, like, well, that's kind of defeats the purpose of being a team. It's a harsh reality. There is no the one, right? There's no such thing as love, okay? Especially not in this day and age where both sides seem to be more interested in what you can provide and bring to the table than your personality, what you look like. You ask a woman what she brings to the table. What? How dare you ask me that? I am the table. Bitch, you ain't shit. You live at your home with your parents, no job, no car. You out here talking to men like you king shit. You ain't king shit. You are not king shit. Now, there are some generally good women out there. They're just, if you spend most of your time on the internet, you're going to have a hard time thinking that it's a possibility. I'm not saying all women are bad, because there are definitely some good women out there. I just don't see them very often. especially not on the internet. I've definitely seen some clips of some just, some absolutely kind and loving women. And you know what? They get trashed in the comments by, you guessed it, other women. Other women hate any women that show a morsel of respect or love or decency towards their man. And I was always like that, like I made the mistake of growing up at a very young age with, romantic movies and TV shows. So I, like most guys, thought that, that was just the way. You give 110% to every girl you with, ride or die, 100%, and I hope you learn very quickly, because that is a good way to get treated like shit, used, and just get your absolute shit ripped right out of your chest. Get your heart ripped right out. Okay? Women today, I kind of wish... I don't know what's going on with the modern dating scene. It doesn't seem like dating apps, anyone's on them anymore, and hookup culture is kind of going away. And people are more lonely than ever. I don't really know how this got to be such a big problem. I know back in like 2018, the last time I really used dating apps or whatever, you could still find decent people to talk to, decent men or so, and you could still meet up and, have a decent time. I met a few of my girlfriends like that. Anytime I've tried dating apps today, the only women are on there that are fakes, super hot women that get a ton of matches, and usually ogres. Like, you get barely any matches as a man. And it's not even just me. Like, I've seen my buddy who's like 5'10", he's fairly built, and he looks a lot better than I do. Even in person, he does really well with women. On dating apps, he struggles. I don't know what it is. Dating apps are definitely not the way. But you go out to a bar to meet women, it's like women twice your age. Like, I'm 30. Most women are at bars are like 45, 40 to 45, 50. It's like, and I sure as fuck ain't doing clubs. Like, I ain't a club guy. Fuck that. Fuck that. Not doing that shit. But, I don't know. The last time I tried to date was like 3 years ago. I was talking to this girl. Made it real clear I'm not exclusive, I'm still talking to other girls. I was talking to a few girls at that time. Wasn't really looking for anything serious. But if something serious kind of came my way, I'm not opposed to it. And I kind of realized that I was more annoyed with having to talk to someone daily. I really was not interested in a relationship, and it was just becoming more BS than it was worth. Like, you had to tiptoe. Everything that you say kind of gets twisted. It's like, that's not what I said. That was like the beginning first part of the sentence, and you just like lost out on the last part. Like, what? It's like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck off. I just don't have the patience, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's just me personally. If you're a relationship guy, you want to be in a relationship, that's fine. You can be a relationship guy. But you got to build enough confidence in yourself to be able to walk away. To have enough confidence, to have maybe other things in your life going on. I have things in my life going on. But plenty of guys live and breathe for their women. Like, plenty of, like, manly, traditional, big football beard big rock, like, but they're absolute bitches for their women. Like, that's all they want to do. When she gets home, that's it. When she gets home, he wants to be home. That's just not me. That's just not me. But as far as like the modern dating scene goes, marriage definitely ain't worth it. There's very few benefits if you're a man, but women will swear up and down that, you ain't providing marriage, or she ain't on the board. It's like, it does nothing for you. It just gives her benefits to leave your ass. I don't get it. It just gets the government involved in your relationship. Like, to me, it seems more romantic to me that I wake up every day and I have the choice to throw you not to be here, and I'm choosing for you to stay here. Like, I want you here. I'm choosing for you to be here every day. Not because a piece of paper fucking tells me I have to have you here. That seems more romantic to me. But I'm not saying I don't eventually want a wife. Or, not a wife, but I don't eventually want someone to grow old with, but I sure as fuck ain't ever getting married. Like, we ain't never getting the government involved in our shit. That's just not happening. If that's not okay with you, if you feel like you need a piece of paper and some giant wedding thing that you want to spend $100,000 on, nah, you can exit stage right. And a divorce lawyer kind of told me this, and it's kind of stuck with me. The bigger the wedding, the higher the chance of divorce. And usually the crazier bullshit gets pulled during the divorce. That kind of is telling. Like, if a girl wants, like, this extravagant, crazy-ass wedding, you might want to take note. It might not end well. But, most guys don't listen. Like, let's be honest. Your buddies don't listen. You probably ain't gonna listen to this. You probably still gonna do whatever you want, thinking you know better. Especially young kids. Young kids ain't gonna listen. They thinking with the dick. She got them tittle bitties and that big booty. I don't know. There's more to life. And these days, you gotta find that, because you sure as hell can't rely on a true partner that is giving 100% for you with zero intention of getting anything in return, while you give 100% to her with zero intention of getting anything in return. A relationship is 100-0. You're giving 100% with no expectation. And she needs to be giving 100% with no expectation as well. And that's just not the case. That kind of fairy tale, this is how things work. That's just shit you see in the movies. True love, everyone thinks every single girl they're with are the one, or every single girl thinks every single guy they're with is the one, until the next guy. Until they dump his ass and move on to the next guy, or you dump her ass and move on to the next girl. Whatever. That fairy tale, I finally found the one. BS is just that. It's BS. This is probably going to be a bit of a longer video, because honestly, we could talk about it all day. I honestly thought about pulling up, like, the high quality statistics that surround marriage and divorce. And divorce is like close to, like, I think 80% initiated by women, and men on average lose like around 70 to 80% of everything they own in most divorce. Like, most people think it's 50-50. It's just not the case. Especially if you have kids, you fucked. Because women are always the primary custodian. Whether you like it or not. Whether that is fair or, she is a good parent or not. It does not matter. And if you want to take those risks, that is fine. But you got to figure out a way to mitigate that as much as possible. You got to do your vetting. You've got to pay attention to red flags. You've got to protect yourself. If this girl, who's newly turned 30 and out at the bar, and, she's gung-ho to go home with you, even though you rarely get any attention from women, but you're finally looking fairly successful, you're doing well for yourself, he's probably trying to baby trap you. Hard truth. But there are literally Reddit forums where women talk about how to baby trap men. It's a real thing. And it's kind of crazy. There are horror stories of men walking in as women turn the condoms inside out and try to, shove that shit in. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but you got to at least know about these things and protect yourself. Wear protection. I don't give a fuck if it feels better. I don't think it feels any different than regular. I think people just think it does. Whatever. It doesn't matter, okay? Not only should you be wearing it for babies, but STDs. And then tie that shit up, throw it right in the toilet, and flush that shit. Don't throw it in the trash can. You need to protect yourself. The only person that's going to take care of you is you. The only person that's going to protect you is you. The only person that gives a fuck about you is you. No one's going to protect you if you don't protect yourself. There are good women out there. Some people recommend going to the church. You can try that. I've heard mixed results, but, I've never been a religious guy. I've never been particularly religious. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not, just to try to get with some, religious chicks or, whatever. I'm just not that guy. Now, if maybe, you're a 30-year-old loser and you've never really had much success with men, or maybe you're a 30-year-old man, you've never had much success with women, if you're looking to, maybe try to get out there and, things that you can do to increase your chances, start working on yourself. The best thing you can do today is start changing. Is start making progress towards changing. Right? Start going to the gym. Start working on some skills that can lead to some higher revenues. Build some goddamn confidence. Build a skill set. Become a confident man. And that doesn't mean just act confident, right? Actually figure out what, the skills that is going to make you more confident in just situations, right? Become more competent in life. That is what builds confidence. Knowing that, hey, if you go into a room that you can handle a situation if it happens. Not like a fight. Like, fighting's bullshit. Okay? But, if the power goes out, maybe there's a storm outside, do you know what to do in a situation? Build some confidence. Go to the gym. Start working on yourself. Build some skills. Start focusing on revenue sources that's going to actually maybe bring in some more money. Maybe learn how to fix a few fucking things. If you're a 30-year-old man and you don't know how to change a flat tire, or maybe you don't know how a toilet works, pull that cover off and look around in there. Oh, there's this, and just start learning some basic shit. You gotta, well, hey, I don't want to go to the gym. I just want to sit home in my mom's basement playing video games all day. Well, no shit, you probably a 30-year-old virgin, bro. I don't know what to tell you. But if you don't want to be a 30-year-old virgin anymore, you got to start building some real-world confidence. Does that mean if you're overweight, you're 5'6", and you start hitting the gym, you start building some skills, maybe you get up to like a 60 to 100K revenue source. Does that mean women are gonna throw themselves at you? No, that doesn't mean that at all. Okay, yeah, height matters. Yeah, how much you make matters. How much looking successful matters to women. Well, I can't change my height. Well, too fucking bad, bro. Too fucking bad. It is what it is. You know, maybe you got a little something downstairs. You got a little one. Too fucking bad. Too fucking bad. Those are the cards you're dealt. Build some character, build some confidence, and deal with it. Oh well. Don't hide from it. Hell, the one of the biggest guys I ever seen pull more women than anyone I ever met. He was like 5'6", 5'7", and he constantly joked about his tiny dick. Constantly joked about it at the bar. And he swore up and down like it was like the size of his pinky, and he swore up and down, and he fucking made fun of it, and he was just so charismatic. And you know what? He pulled chicks. He always had some cute girl on his arm. He was always flirting with a couple of girls. You trust me, you can do it. You can do it, okay? But it's black pill is bullshit. I think red pill was good to a certain point, and it kind of starts getting away from people. But it kind of gets into like the red pill / self-help movement. It's kind of on average just failed people. It just made young men cynical towards women. Men, in reality, you can either play the game, you can get good at playing the game, or you can just fuck off and do your own thing. Those are your choices. Pick it. I chose to fuck off and do my own thing. If a relationship finds me, I'm mostly focusing on trying to build actual wealth and kind of get out of the situation I'm in, and hopefully build a foundation to where I will never be in this situation again, to where I can eventually have real world wealth. And I'm going to keep trying to give you guys some useful information and tips, because, I've lived in a lot of states in this country, and I live in the USA. I've lived in a lot of states. I've been around. I've done a lot. I know how to fix quite a bit. I know how to maintenance quite a bit. And I've been there and I've done that quite a bit at a very young age. So if you want to keep learning what I have and want to keep listening to my words, feel free to subscribe. If not, hopefully this information was helpful to you. If you guys want, there's enough demand, I'll do a video on how to build yourself to just become more successful and attractive. It is possible. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the most attractive, but there are things you can absolutely do, like going to the gym, just dressing in a more successful way, just looking more confident, becoming more capable, become more capable as a man. Like, this shit ain't rocket science, right? Be more charismatic. But as of right now, as soon as I start going back to the gym as well, as soon as I get some extra money to actually get a gym subscription, we're going to be going back to the gym. I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do a vehicle toolbox tour. It's supposed to be like 40, 50 degrees this weekend, so we're going to try to get that done. I'm going to try to organize my tools, try to do a better actual toolbox tour. So stay tuned for that. Peace.